Hey everyone, this is week 25 on Men's Room F to M. I'm TJ, and the topic this week is depression, mental health, and in general. It's kind of interesting that this is a topic this week because I've been dealing a lot with all kinds of mental health issues in my job right now. I'm a residence director at a university in Vermont, and um, I definitely have a lot of students in my complex where I work that are dealing with a whole variety of mental health issues, everything from self-injury, depression, eating disorders, all kinds of stuff, pretty much the whole spectrum. And so I've been very much on the caretaker end of things with them, as well as the RAs that are responding to these situations, as they can obviously be very triggering. As it relates to my personal life, I'm going to refrain from using the term depression because I've never been diagnosed with being depressed, and that is a term that is very much connected to a diagnosis, medical attention, medication, and things like that. And since I've never gone through a process to diagnose myself or medicate myself, I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to talk about mental health in general. Um, I know that prior to coming out, prior to even understanding myself as a queer person, let alone a trans person, I definitely went through a lot of bouts of self hate, of just not appreciating my life and the things that I had in my life, feeling very, very much disconnected in a lot of ways from the world around me. Um, and I think that parallels sometimes what folks who do suffer from depression feel. Um, how much of that was directly connected to um, me trying to figure myself out, and versus other factors, other things going on in my life, I don't know. I can't really tell, but I think I can safely say that it had somewhat to do with it. Um, it can be very, very difficult to maintain a mentally healthy balance in your life when you don't feel connected with what's going on inside of you, and you don't feel connected to the world outside of you because they're not interacting with you the way that you expect them to, or the way that you feel like maybe they are. It just feels odd. It just feels a little off. Um, can't always tell like why, what's different, what should be different. But just that cognition that something's not right. Um, and it really is about relationships. It's about how people saw me or perceived me or talked to me and interacted with me. Um, after after coming out as trans, I know that there was definitely this time period of elation, of just kind of finally figuring this out. That, oh wow, like I'm piecing some of this together, um, and that definitely changed my mood. So again, I guess a little bit of evidence that that had something to do with me feeling not so great about myself. Um, in terms of that, what I guess did to cope with a mentally unhealthy self. Um, I often would either think about suicide, um, plan suicide, um, and even a couple of times attempted suicide, or well, once really attempted it and once came incredibly close to attempting it. Um, and so this is obviously a sensitive topic. Um, the last time I attempted suicide um, was in 2003. So it's been 6 years now. Actually, right about this time of the year, maybe a few weeks earlier. Um, and that actually did not have anything to do with me being trans or anything around gender identity. It actually had to do with a relationship breaking up that I didn't want to end, and I was having a very, very hard time picturing myself with anyone else, and I think in some ways I was trying to give my, at that point, former partner a reason to stay with me, to keep me alive, to save me, which I recognize now that was a very, very controlling, manipulative, and abusive thing to do. Not only to myself, but obviously to my former partner. So things along the lines of depression, suicide, and mental health are hot button issues for me. They're very triggering. Yeah, because it takes me back to a time when I did really crappy things to people I very, very much still care about. Other than that, I'm trying to think of what are some of the other questions. How has transitioning helped it, complicated it? I think it's helped it a little bit in terms of me feeling better about my body. Has allowed me to not consistently think about my body, and so I'm able to think about other aspects of my life and take care of other aspects of my life. And I'm able to physically interact with people and in a more comfortable manner. A couple of my former RAs were actually visiting me the other day, and they commented on how much more comfortably I'm sitting now than I did last year. And I mean, even that sort of physical interaction, sitting next to someone, is very, very different now than it was. So that's cool. Allows me to be more natural and more personable, I guess. Other than that, has it complicated it any? I think it's still, you know, the piece about this about my puzzle in terms of my visa status and my immigration status still kind of hanging over my head, is always consistently on my mind. So my transition has complicated that, and thus complicated my thought process around that, and is always on my mind. So when I do feel down about myself and feel like I have no outs, it's often about that. So it's played a role in that a little bit, but overall, I think it's actually improved my health tenfold, and just allowed me the ability to normalize my interactions with people. And I very much, like, my mental well-being very much feeds off of personal relationships, so that's how I guess that's improved that. Beyond that, I guess I don't really have much more to add to that. I know this is a huge topic in our community, and I'm glad that we're talking about it. And we definitely could use a lot more resources put into tackling these issues in our community, instead of always putting every single cent of our resources into the same political issues time and time again. I think folks know what I'm talking about. I don't need to be too specific about that, but when we have things that really affect people's lives on a daily basis, I think we can spare some of our resources to go towards taking care of ourselves, and not every single thing going to things that only benefit a certain aspect of our community. I'll get off my soapbox now. Have a great week, y'all.